Hi guys, and welcome back to our video. As you may have seen by the title up above, today is an candy. It's not candy, it's an ear stretching video. This is my little kit of ear stretching supplies, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Currently I am at a 0 gauge, and I will be going up to a 00. That is my final destination, I should say. And I am using a kit that I ordered from Amazon that comes with all the different tunnels. So there's my 00s waiting for me, 10 millimeter. So I will be going up to a 10 millimeter from, oh goodness, now I forgot, from an 8 millimeter. So I'm jumping up a couple millimeters, hopefully. We're gonna see how this goes. As you guys may be aware, when you go to stretch up your ears, sometimes it doesn't quite cooperate. I tend to struggle. One of my ears is worse than the other, and I never remember which one. But we're gonna go ahead and get those ones out and put the new tunnels in. These are my, oh, what are they? Is it titanium? I'm not even sure at this point. But you can see it's got this color. It matches my jewelry, all of my jewelry pretty much. And then I also have a nose ring, but it's tucked up right now, and it matches this as well. This I decided is my final size for stretching, and I want to also remind you guys that the kittens are playing. Also remind you guys that when you are stretching your ears, it is important that you take the time to let them gradually stretch. You don't want to force anything, because the more trauma you put to it, the worse your ears are going to feel, and potentially you may end up having to completely remove that tunnel and or plug. And that's not fun. You don't want to have to regress because of rushing it. So take your time, guys. It's very important to let your ears naturally stretch. You should be able to see light between them. Like, you can kind of see when I pull down, you can see through in here. It's hard to tell on camera, but trust me guys, I can see through it. I've actually, if I want to, I'm able to push my earring completely through my ear without taking the back off. So I could push it through the front, and the front has this little, let me show you on my 00s here. The front is actually, it's a single flared tunnel. Let's see if we can get it to focus. So you can see it's a single, oh, there's makeup under my nail. Well, deal with it. Anyways, it's a single flare with a rubber O-ring. There you go, that's a little better. And I can actually push the tunnel straight through my ear at this point because they are ready for the next size up. Now, I've had these in for well over a month now. I don't even know exactly. I'll have to check and see if I can find the date that I put them in, or the video where I put them in. I will link it or put it somewhere on the screen or down below or something like that. But they've been in for a while, guys. You really want to take your time stretching, and this is very important. If you don't, like I said, bad things can happen. I will not put pictures in my videos because they're gross. I've never had any blowouts, so if you want to find out, search stretching blowout for ears. I don't recommend. But I have never had a blowout. I've never had any issues. I've never had to regress any because I've taken my time and I'm making sure that I'm conditioning my ears properly. I wash them every day. I oil them every day. My favorite oil to use that I highly recommend is jojoba oil. And I ordered this on Amazon. Oh gosh, guys, there it goes. And this is the 11 Rose. I think it's how it's pronounced. You can see this big bottle is going to last for forever. I guess you can't see through, but it's about to here. So it's lasting a long time considering how long I've been stretching. And, you know, I started at a 20 gauge, and that's what general standard ear piercing is at. And I worked my way up, and now we're going into a 00. So stay tuned for a quick little blip of it. So I almost forgot to tell you guys that the tapers that I'm using are from Wish. And the thing with these tapers is, I will say, they're fairly smooth. So I'm holding two of them. They're fairly smooth, but they do have a bit of a bump here that I've seen some of the better kits not have. If I were to suggest, yes, these are cheap. So if you're looking for cheap, you can use these. They do come with, let me flip it over. This is my little case of goodies here. They do come with plugs. So this is the 00 gauge plug. This is currently the, oops, here we go. See if I can get it out real quick. This is the 0 plug. So just to kind of show you guys a little bit of a size comparison, just going up a little bit bigger, and these came with it, so it was really a good deal for what they were. But they did start at let's see, they did start at a 10 gauge. So initially when I was stretching them, I jumped up pretty quickly in that. So that is just a warning for you guys. The tapers, some of them are not the right size to start with. If you can, I highly suggest you go to like Urban Body Jewelry. They have kits that have that have the tapers and such, but they're metal, and they also have ones that I really wish I would have had, but they have a screw-on bit where you can actually take your tunnel and screw it onto the end of your taper, and as you slide it through, it will pull your tunnel straight through. So one of the biggest issues I have is once I get this through, even when it's just sitting there, I can't get my tunnels lined up close enough to slide them through. So that gives me a lot of fight, and I'm sure you'll see it in this video. I'm sure I'm gonna struggle, but I wanted to just come back and talk about that real quick. And then again, just showing you, I had marked these beforehand when I was learning. See if you can focus at all. There you go. You can see the difference in sizes. So it's gonna be a jump, guys. This might be a little bit of a stretch. It might take a little bit of time. There is other stretching methods that I believe I talked about in the previous video. But if not, I will be sure to make a video about it and link it in the cards above. But there are other methods of stretching. I do not recommend like plain dead stretching. I do suggest like a taper method or the taping method. The taping method would be preferable, but I'm working with what I have. So as a mom on a strict budget, budget series coming soon, I'm working with what I got, okay? So that's what we got there, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on over to stretching, and if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Also be sure that you subscribe, ring that bell icon so you never miss a beat. Give this video a thumbs up so that it helps our channel out, and be sure to check us out on Instagram at servicedog_stone or at Pollen Blogs. Before you do anything, I forgot to mention, make sure you wash your hands. Wash your hands before you start doing this, because you do not want to contaminate your ear, especially because there is going to be a certain level of slight possible tearage, and tearage is a word. Anyways, there is that possibility, and you do not want to introduce any contaminants into your ear and then risk running into some kind of infection where you're gonna again have to take out your earring completely or downsize or even go to the hospital, guys. So wash your hands before you start messing with your jewelry. Cleanse your jewelry. I have now soaked my jewelry and rubbing alcohol is what I put it in. And that's just because that's what I have for a cleaner. And yeah, that's everything. I sterilize everything before I even start dealing with it. So just a warning. Okay, so I've only been sitting here a few minutes. I was expecting it to take a lot longer, but turns out my ears were totally ready for this. Stone, quiet. So it's sitting here. Now, I do not recommend leaving tapers in your ears to stretch them. Like, don't go around town wearing your tapers. That's not good for your ears. That's why I'm just sitting here in my house wearing it, just trying to allow my ear to gradually stretch. That way I can be sure that I can get these 00 plugs in without any issues, because the more you're shoving and pushing and forcing, the more tearing is happening in the hole. And what will happen is you'll end up getting infections, blowouts, things like that. So you really want to take your time to make sure that you are stretching slowly and allowing it to really release. Massaging around your ears can also help bring blood flow to them to allow them to stretch easier, and it will be, you shouldn't really have pain, but there is a certain level of there's a certain level of sting, I want to say, when you start to stretch, especially when you hit the lumps. And so there is just a little bit of sting, but it's really not much if you're doing it correctly. This time, I have not felt it because my ear was clearly very ready to go. I probably could try to put this in now, but I'm trying to give it a little bit more time to just kind of stretch and really be prepared for this, because I don't want to have to try more than once. That's often the mistake I see in videos when I'm watching other people's stretching videos, is that they will sit there and they will dig and shove and pull, and it just ends up making your ear sore and uncomfortable. And I can say that I have done that one time. I forced it a little rough. Stone, lay down. Lay down. He's talking back. So anyways, I've seen people shove and force, and oh man, that's not good. And I did one time press it a little fast, I guess is how I want to say, and I regretted it. My ears were sore, and they weren't comfortable. And normally you're not going to be super comfortable when you first put them in, but generally you should be okay to go to sleep on your ear and not feel like, oh gosh, you know. So like I said, I made that mistake once. Sorry if my lighting changes. I've got one dog laying here and one dog laying there, and the other dog is just staring at me. So anyways, gonna go back on over to my little lip here, and we're gonna try to put this in. And there we have it. I finally got it in. This is definitely my difficult ear. I also went ahead and switched my nose ring while I was at it. So, and this is just a little fake ring. Because none of my cartilage piercings heal correctly due to, I have sensitivity to certain metals, and so far I haven't found anything that I could put in the top that won't, like, react if it goes through my skin. So, with that being said, I'm all done. I am excited to finally be at my goal size. I can't wait to hopefully eventually get some tunnels and plugs. Like I said, I'm going to be checking out like bodyjewelry.com and Urban Body Jewelry, like those kind of places to find some high quality but cheap-ish jewelry. But for a while there, I'm going to be in these tunnels, so I've got at least a month or so before I switch these out to anything probably. So that's where it is, and thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below, or you can message me on our Instagrams at servicedog_stone or at Poland Vlogs. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!